My name's Caleb Turner. I'm 37, a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, and I thought I'd been through enough in life to know what betrayal felt like. I've had bullets fly past my face, seen friends take their last breaths, dragged brothers through dust and blood just to keep them alive for one more day. But none of that prepared me for what my wife did to me. None of that made me ready for this. I met Melissa back in 2010, just after my second deployment. She worked at a small bookstore downtown, always had a pen behind her ear and a look like she was dreaming of someplace better. She liked that I was grounded, focused, solid. I liked that she was full of light and softness I didn't think I deserved. We got married in 2012. For a while, we were good, even when things were hard. I was gone a lot, but we made it work. She volunteered, helped with local events, stayed close to people in the community. That's always been her world. Potlucks, planning committees, local charities. Mine was sand, sweat, and steel. I'd just come home last fall, early from a tour after a roadside blast messed up my left knee. First medical discharge I've ever had, and it felt like someone slammed a door in my face. I didn't tell her how much that ate at me, but I tried to keep it together. Fix the deck, help the neighbors, rebuild the man I used to be. My best friend since childhood, Tommy, still lived 2 blocks down. We grew up on the same street, rode bikes, joined the Army together, though he got out early. Now he's a mechanic with 2 kids and a beer fridge that's always full. We stayed close, even after life dragged us in different directions. I trusted him more than anyone. His dad, Dennis, was part of the scenery my whole life. A big man with a voice like sandpaper and a smirk like he always knew something you didn't. Ran a few businesses, coached Little League when we were kids. Everyone in town respected him. He always called me Soldier Boy and slapped my back like it was some badge of honor. I never thought twice about him. Why would I? He was Tommy's dad. Melissa had met him dozens of times over the years. Nothing unusual, until recently. I started noticing little things. The way Dennis joked with her at a barbecue, too familiar, too comfortable. The way she laughed, not just polite, but warm, intimate. I told myself I was being paranoid. Old man flirts with everyone, right? But the feeling didn't leave. Then came the day I drove past his place on the way back from the VA clinic. Her car was in his driveway, middle of the afternoon. She was supposed to be at a nonprofit training out of town. I slowed down, stared, didn't stop. I told myself there was a good reason. She'd explain. She always had words. But when I walked into the house that evening, and she smiled at me like nothing happened, like her world was still spinning clean, something in me cracked. I didn't ask. Not yet. But I knew. I knew. I didn't sleep that night. I lay there next to her, listening to the sound of her breathing, steady and peaceful, like nothing was wrong. My mind was racing, looping through every moment from the past few months. The late nights, the sudden phone calls she'd take outside, the shift in how she touched me. Less warmth, more habit. I wanted to believe it was just stress, adjusting to me being home full-time. We'd been through deployments before. Reintegration was always messy. But this was different. This felt off. The next morning, she left early, said she had another meeting for a fundraising gala. I waited 15 minutes, grabbed my keys, and followed. Not proud of it. I'd never done anything like that before. But when your gut screams at you loud enough, you stop ignoring it. She didn't drive to the event center. She took a left out of town, same as yesterday, and turned into Dennis's driveway again. I parked a block away and waited. 20 minutes passed. No one came out. Then I saw it, her silhouette through the upstairs window. Not alone. A man moved behind her. His shape was broad, unmistakable. My stomach dropped. I felt like I was watching a car crash in slow motion, only the wreck was my life. I left. Didn't confront her. Didn't bang on the door, just drove aimlessly, hands shaking on the wheel. I ended up at Tommy's shop. He was under a truck, grease on his shirt, same guy I'd grown up with.
He smiled when he saw me, asked if I was good. I wasn't. I said I just needed air. Couldn't tell him. How could I? It was his dad. We all looked up to him as a great father figure. That night, she came home late. Said the event went long. Too many donors, too much wine. I nodded, said nothing. I watched her take off her shoes, pour herself a glass of water, move through our house like it was still hers, like she wasn't burning it down from the inside out. I wanted to scream, to ask her why, to rip the truth out of her mouth whether she wanted to give it or not, but I didn't. I waited. I started digging instead, quietly, carefully. Over the next few days, I checked her texts when she was in the shower. Nothing there. She was too smart for that. I checked her laptop. Password changed. I checked our shared tablet. That's where I found it. Photos synced from her phone. Some innocuous. Brunch with friends, a picture of our dog, a sunset from the lake. Then one. Just one. Blurry. Taken in a mirror. Her in lingerie I'd never seen before, kissing someone face hidden, just the curve of a chest and the gray hair on the back of a neck. My blood turned to ice. I knew that neck, that hair, that goddamn chain he always wore. I stared at it for a long time. My wife. And him. Tommy's father. A man who used to hand me hot dogs at backyard cookouts and slap my back like a proud uncle, a man I trusted, a man I respected. It was all right there in one frozen moment. And still, I couldn't confront her. Not yet. Because something in me needed more. Not just proof. Witness. The next day, I bought a small hidden camera. One of those motion-activated ones that look like a charger. I felt sick doing it, like I was betraying her. Isn't that twisted? She was the one lying, sneaking off, fucking someone behind my back, someone who'd held me as a baby, and yet I felt dirty for planting a camera in our bedroom. But I needed to see it. I needed to know beyond theory and suspicion. I placed it carefully, aimed at the doorway, angled just enough to catch the bed. I didn't tell anyone, not even my brother, who would have lost his mind. I waited 2 days. Nothing. She stayed home, calm, normal, even affectionate in a forced sort of way, as if she sensed me slipping away and was trying to reel me back in with gentle touches and polite questions. Then, on the 3rd day, she said she had to go to her sister's to help her with baby clothes. She left around 11 a.m. I checked the camera feed an hour later. The room was empty. Noon passed. Nothing. 1:07, the door opened. She walked in, alone at first. She looked around, nervous. Then he followed. Dennis, wearing that same chain, that same smug grin, like he'd belonged in my house, like he'd done this before. She kissed him. Slow. Familiar. They didn't even talk. Just moved toward the bed like it was routine. My stomach flipped. I wanted to throw up, punch a wall, break the screen in half. I watched him touch her like I didn't exist, like I was a ghost in my own home. I turned it off before it went further. I couldn't stomach it. I sat there in silence, staring at the wall for what felt like an hour. Then I stood up, grabbed my keys, and drove to Tommy's shop. Not to tell him. Not yet. I just needed to look him in the eye and remember what friendship felt like, before everything shattered. Tommy was under the hood of an old Chevy when I pulled up. He wiped his hands, grinned like always, offered me a beer from the cooler in the corner. I took it, cracked it open, tried to act normal. But something about the way he looked at me, like he could tell I wasn't right, made my throat tighten. He asked if everything was okay. I said, yeah, Just tired. Long week. He nodded, didn't press. That's who he was. Loyal to a fault, never the type to pry. Which made this all worse. I watched him for a minute. Watched the way he worked, the way he moved, how he still had grease under his fingernails like we were teenagers again, sneaking beers in his backyard. I wanted to tell him. I almost did. But the words caught in my mouth like razor blades. How do you say that? Hey man, your dad's been fucking my wife while I was out fighting for this country. It didn't come out. I choked it down. I told him I'd catch him later, gave him a weak smile, and left. When I got home, she was already there. She was in the kitchen, humming, making pasta like it was just any other night, like she hadn't betrayed everything we built. I sat at the table, watched her move around, and realized I didn't recognize her anymore. Same face, same voice, same laugh, but the soul behind it? Gone, replaced by something colder, quieter, emptier. She asked how my day was. I said, fine. She leaned in, kissed my cheek, told me she loved me. I didn't say it back, not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't remember what it meant anymore.